You can listen to Radio K-Man everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go. Everywhere we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiokman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio K-Man everywhere.
Talk Today is brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What's on your mind, K-Man? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. K-Man, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host, Charles Glidden.
Coming up, then RCIPS is having an open house to recruit, and we'll get the details. Later in the show, it's your time on Open Line. You can tell us what's on your mind. Talk Today's next. Stay with me.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. I'm Charles Glidden. Glad you could tune in. It's a dusty kind of afternoon here in the Cayman Islands. All three islands under a dust alert by the National Weather Service. Yeah, the Sahara dust is moving in, so giving us some, a hazy kind of look for the rest of the day. I don't know, maybe more than today, but yeah, it's moving in out there. If you have respiratory problems, or sinus issues, it's probably not a good day to be hanging out outside. Probably an inside day for you if you have those kind of issues. Unless you have one of those N95 or KN95 mask, that'll protect you. But they say putting a bandana, a handkerchief, or one of those what do they call them, neck gaiters over your face, even that standard surgical mask that you just pick up in the store someplace, not good enough for Sahara dust. Nope. Offers very little protection, it's said. So if you need to take care and protect yourself, you should make note of the air conditions outside. Well, the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service has a new headquarters at last. The RCIPS is also recruiting as part of their open house at the headquarters. And joining me to give the details are Chief Inspector Wade Chase and also Officer Shamar Dawkins. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the studio. So it must be nice to be in that new headquarters.
Yes, it is. It's a long time coming, but it's a very nice building, a nice environment for police officers to work, as well as members of the public to come in to be able to make reports. The waiting room is quite spacious, and it's pretty good setup. Pretty good setup.
So, I mean, you must have a lot of happy officers who have to be in there.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, the recruitment drive that you're under now, when are you going to be having this open house where people can come and learn about joining the service?
Well, our open house is on, first of all, we have a Caymanian recruitment drive for police constables, police recruit constables, which is set to conclude on the 14th of June of this year. Now, our open house is on Saturday. This Saturday coming, the 6th of June, and we will be showcasing various departments, be it K9, firearms, our service delivery, which is our bread and butter policing, our criminal investigations department, our ear operations unit, you name it, we'll all be out there. And it is taking place on Saturday between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. On our police Central Police Station, which is on Eastern Avenue, the new build right in front of the new building.
So people can, that they're interested in joining the service, they can get a good idea of what being a police is like as far as the kind of jobs that are available.
Definitely. I always say that policing is no 2 days are the same, and this is the best way to showcase it, the different departments. We have so many different departments that officers could participate in, or service delivery. If you choose to be in service delivery, if that's where you are, as I said, no 2 days are the same in service delivery as well. You always deal with something different.
What's that mean, service delivery?
Service delivery is the regular calls to service, uniform policing, where the majority of our officers do work. That's the adventure driver, so to speak, for lack of a better word.
Those are the people on patrol.
Persons on patrol that see everything all day, every day. Yeah,
it's normally in this uniform.
Yeah.
That's that's Officer Dawkins speaking there. Now, are you still a recruit trainee?
No.
What?
Well, I'm coming up to my 5th year anniversary in policing, and I'm attached to Traffic and Roads Policing Unit. So I'm normally neon yellow or neon green, but today I chose to use the number 1 uniform that the service delivery personnel wear.
Well, tell me, what motivated you to become a police officer?
Well, for me, my ambition was always to join the traffic department. Basically, I used to do heavy equipment before I joined police. Mm-hmm. And, being on the roads 24/7 a day, you'll normally see the bad driving habits and, stuff of that
We
sort.
talk about the bad driving a lot on this show.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was basically my first nudge to say, join the police, and I wanted to be the person to make a change in policing.
So you went in with the idea of joining the traffic department?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Yeah. So what kind of experience has it been for you?
I can't tell anyone that I could attest that I've never thought of quitting policing. It's a very rewarding career for me, and I love it. And there's a saying that says, if you love a job, you won't even see it as a job. Mm-hmm. So I can't give any bad reviews in regards to the job. It's a very rewarding career.
So, what kind of person are you looking for as far as recruiting someone? Inspector Chase.
Well, we're looking for persons that are community-minded, right? Persons that want to make a difference in the community, persons that are interested in policing, because that's very, very important. Now, it's very few jobs. There are many jobs that make an impact, but I must say that policing is one of those jobs that every day that you come out on the street, that there's that opportunity to make an impact with the community. Mm-hmm. And we're looking at strengthening our local representation within the police, continue to strengthen our local representation. So who better to understand the Cayman community than young Caymanians looking to join the organization and work with their community that they grew up in, they went to school with and stuff like that, and make the differences that they have seen that need to be made and being able to make them on the go as an officer.
Are you facing the same kind of challenges that any organization that's recruiting in Cayman have as far as getting people locally?
Well, no, we do have quite a few persons applying. It is a very strenuous process of our recruitment because the requirements once you become a police officer, the whole recruitment process and training is to build you into, is one of those jobs that you consistently have to be switched on. It is really hard on mental health and everything else if you're not always thinking. So it's a process where we prepare you to become a police officer. So as part of our process, the recruitment aspect is one, the examination that we start right at the beginning, and then there's the physical fitness. And that brings another point. Often what we see is persons sometimes not able to get through the physical fitness aspect of it. So what we do now, we really encourage persons to prepare that aspect as well, where that they can research the beep test or the 50-meter shuffle run is on the internet, which allows you to practice ahead of the fitness test so that when it comes, it's not a surprise to you. You can find examples of it on our fitness test or on our website, or you can also visit the training and development unit at Governor Square, where you could get more information on how you can actually practice for the fitness test and stuff like that. After the fitness test, we do very rigorous background checks for character and stuff like that. And then there's an interview that goes on as well before actually joining. So our process is quite rigorous, but we do have extreme amount of young Caymanian interests, and we're looking to continue to build on that. Yeah.
What's the exam like?
Mm-hmm. The exam.
What kind of questions?
The exam covers various areas. There's 2 exams broken down, one into a multiple choice exam. This exam covers basic maths and English, which policing itself requires you to do a lot of reports. There's the adventure part where you spend on the street, but most of the time in policing, you do spend a lot of time actually updating records, preparing for court, doing statements, doing reports. So that aspect of it. And then the second part of the exam is a written essay, which you actually have to, we provide you with various topics, could be on current events, series of topics where that you then prepare essay in relation to that.
How did you find the qualification when you entered?
Well,
how was that for you?
Well, when I did the exam, it was similar to what Chief Inspector Chase is explaining. So we had comprehension, you had grammar, in respects of English, and you had to write an essay. And this is all similar to what persons will see in a CXC examination setting, where you'll have 1 or 2 invigilators in the room, and you'll be given an exam to sit, so like an English A paper. And within that paper as well, you also had mathematic questions that you had to do. And afterwards, you'll take a break and we'll come back in and we'll do a multiple choice where you have a range of other things that you may have to go through, such as vocabulary and stuff of that sort. And I think afterwards we did the physical when I did training.
So you have to have a good basic education.
Yeah, definitely. And we do have minimum requirements in terms of qualifications, which is 5 CXCs, a high school diploma, GED, or equivalent. Another thing is that you must be Caymanian under the Cayman Islands Immigration Act for this particular application process. Persons with previous law enforcement experience, such as auxiliary constables or community support officers, may also qualify once they meet additional requirements. So those persons that are already serving, we do have a policy around that. And you must have a valid driver's license because you need to get around. And I got to state the obvious, you mustn't have any criminal convictions. And that's very, very important as well. Because as I say, we do have to do some very rigorous background checks as well in relation to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do have a caller, so if you can put on your headphones there. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Mr. Glidden and Chief Inspector. I don't believe it is Chief.
Yes, it is.
And the officer sitting there, I didn't catch his name because
Officer Shamar Dawkins.
Officer Dawkins, good afternoon. I just
Yes,
tuned
good
in about
afternoon.
12:25. I want to say, Officer Chase, I have said this to you personally and other high officials in the RCIPS. Please, please, please implement professional training in terms of customer service. We know this is very, very vital. Training where officers have to read the room when they attend reports and incidents and so forth, which will then put into play how they present themselves at the time. I won't get into all of the logistics of that because it'll be quite lengthy, but I think this is very important. And we know that we saw in the news a few months ago that people were complaining about the disposition of officers and so forth and whatnot. So I'm sure you're on top of this, Mr. Chase, Officer Chase, but I just wanted to publicly say it to remind you guys that this is very important in terms of how the RCIPS presents itself. And as you, or I believe the other Officer Dawkins was saying, whether it was you saying that, who else to better serve the Caymanian community than Caymanians and those who have, grew up and went to school with and so forth and whatnot with fellow Caymanians. Very important. And so is customer service, as well as still maintaining the authority of a law enforcement officer. Now, the other thing I wanted to quickly mention, I hear you talking about the requirements. So, for example, I want to say in the U.S., in Florida, where I've lived for a long time, anyone, any permanent resident or citizen that wants to enlist in law enforcement and or the armed forces, if they are deemed a potential client, a potential candidate, but they are not quite where the requirements are looking for, there are different programs in place within these organizations that will assist these cadets. Or say, for instance, in the U.S., I'm just using an example, doesn't mean that this applies to Cayman, but there's the ASFAB test. I don't know if you've heard of the ASFAB, but it's a test that's specifically geared to persons who want to enlist in the armed forces. And then there's another test for law enforcement. So if they go into these services and they're not quite where they should be, and they're recruiters, because they have recruiters for these services, each branch of the armed forces, and then sheriffs or what they call highway patrolmen, and different categories of law enforcement. They have tests where they give them the entry level test, and if they're not quite where they should be, and they see that there are some shortcomings, they may not be as versed in math, they have programs behind the scenes where they can assist these cadets or potential cadets that could help them to get where they want to be. And the other important factor that I want to see, many people learn differently. And I'll use myself for an example. I have a high IQ, and I know a lot about whatever my subject matter may be, but I have testing anxiety. So I may not perform as best as I can on tests. I also do better in multiple choice than I would do on other types of structured testing. So I just wanted to say that if you guys haven't already done so, you may want to bear these things in mind when you're dealing with potential recruits, because we don't know if some of these recruits may be able to, have little learning challenges or testing anxiety, and they may be too embarrassed to say. They may not even be aware of this about themselves, And so I just wanted to basically throw that out there to say, I don't know if any of those programs are in place, but if not, they can be considered, because that could potentially assist the recruitment process and pulling in the types of recruits that you want to look for. The other last thing I'm going to say,
real quick,
the government is working on the expungement process, and trying to revamp the law. Now, the consideration is when and if this takes place, and hopefully it does very soon, we may have potential recruits that could be recruited, but they may have to get expungement. So I just want to put that out there, that might be one consideration too for the future, or if anyone applies and so forth. So I'll leave you guys with that. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Think about that. We're going to take a break. We'll get your answers to that when we come back.
No problem.
Okay.
The 7 a.m. Sports Report, brought to you by Dr. Wayne Porter, offering a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today.
Are you ready for hurricane season? Maybe it's time to invest in your own RAM water tank. RAM water tanks boast superior strength, made to withstand harsh conditions and impact resistance. Mobile truck tanks, 225 gallons in white, green, and blue, and 600-gallon water tanks. Buy two, get the third 50% off. Order your RAM water tank today. Call 925-3822. RAM water tanks, built to last a lifetime. On sale now until June 30th or while supplies last.
Hey man, this is DJ Lynn. Catch me live weekdays from 7 till 10 a.m. on the Morning Breeze, our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM. We're waking you up with the best adult contemporary hits with the 70s, 80s, 90s, and much more. So start your morning the K-Man way with me, DJ Lynn, on the Morning Breeze.
Radio K-Man, your number one community station, would like to remind you that we are in the hurricane season, and in order to survive a hurricane, you need to be prepared. If officials' sources say a hurricane is imminent, please board up or shutter up windows in your home or place of business. Remember to use good lumber, as makeshift boarding may actually cause more damage. Also put strong bracing on outside doors so that they are not blown off or blown in.
This hurricane advice was brought to you by Radio K-Man, your caring community radio station.
Radio K-Man's Talk Today. What is on your mind, K-Man?
Welcome back, and I'm speaking with Chief Inspector Wade Chase and Officer Shamar Dawkins about the recruitment of police officers that is ongoing. And our caller is talking about training for customer service. Is that addressed in your training?
All right. First of all, I want to thank that caller. Her questions were quite clear, and very appreciative of the type of questions that she asked. First of all, I can answer them one at a time so that we don't be all over the place. The first one was in relation to customer service. As an organization, we do take professionalism extremely seriously, and we have consistent training for officers, and throughout that training, we try to impart the importance of customer service. And a little while back, we had specifically for the entire organization where we all did customer service throughout the thing. It was hosted by the Ministry of Tourism, and we consistently do customer service for all the officers. Every single officer within the organization was trained, recruits as well. That being said, we do understand that there are times where officers may not be as professional as they should be, and we do have an avenue specifically for that where persons can bring it to the attention of the police through our professional standards, and we will address it, right? But consistent learning and engagement is very important when it comes to customer service, because we are looking to put out a product, and we are looking to engage with the community consistently, where people feel comfortable coming to the police to make reports, comfortable speaking to the police officer, comfortable providing information. So customer service is very dear to us, and we will continue to work on it. And if there's anything specific, feel free to call the Professional Standards Unit, where that is then fed back into training as well. All right.
So as a traffic officer, you're trained how to properly approach a driver that you've pulled over?
Sir. Yes, sir. So when I did training, and I'm pretty sure it's still ongoing, all officers have learned what we call the 8 steps of engagement, whereas you have to identify yourself first off. The next thing is to inform the person of the reason why they're having police contact, and it continues to go down and go down as the police will need information. So it's something that everybody is exposed to, and we also have annual recertifications that we have to do for specific headlines of controversial topics, so to speak, that's within the the general globe. So things like hate crime, things like diversity, customer service, those are specific modules that each officer has to recertify each year for.
And she was also asking about if someone is, not quite up to standard, is there any kind of program to help them to bring themselves up to standard?
Well, there's no specific programs that we have at this point in time where that they could do a separate exam, as the caller had mentioned, a separate exam that allowed them to enter having not met the minimum requirements. The minimum requirements are the minimum requirements at this stage, and that's through government and everything else to ensure that we maintain that standard across the board. But what we do is, if a person does not meet these requirements and they want a path in which that they can work towards these requirements, they could come, they could sit with any one of the instructors, they could sit with our HR team, and we could help you see the path forward.
So you need to work on this.
Where you need to work on this and where you need to work on that. Additionally, as I said earlier, one of the main areas where persons usually struggle, quite a few people meet the academic qualifications, but where persons do struggle is with the physical aspect of it, and the shuffle, run, the beat test that we do, which is international standard for fitness. But we are working with persons. We do give them the opportunity sometimes to find out more information about it. If they want to pass the training and development unit to see how it's done, that's always open to them. And that is another avenue by which we help people prepare for that stage. But as for other entry means where you could just do an exam, that is not it. That is not something that we cater for at this time. Another method of entry through an examination, but it's something that obviously we could look into and see how that works for us.
You have to be able to chase somebody down through the bushes.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But we do have several other entries that we are working on as an organization, though. That being said, be it through the Cadet Corps, we're on the verge of working with the Cadet Corps on an MOU where persons that in the later stages of the cadets, there is a 1-year program that they will be doing that is based around policing studies, so police cadets, as well as the University of Portsmouth, where persons, the scholarship program that we as an organization are sponsoring as well. So that's another avenue for Mr. Dawkins could speak a little bit more on that, him being one of the recipients of that scholarship, University of Portsmouth.
So it's a 3-year degree, bachelor's degree, that is completely focused on policing. And you'll get the exposure of being in a different jurisdiction where crime is on a larger scale, where you'll hear of like terrorism, you hear about financial terrorism, agricultural terrorism. There's so much that we may not be exposed to in the Cayman Islands, and hopefully never. But it's a path that we're looking at for persons who are civilians who like to become a police officer, could get this opportunity to go and study in the UK for this 3-year program, and then come back in the RCIPS to work. And also for police officers, they do have an avenue for officers to also go up and get this degree and be able to come back as well and still have a job here.
And you went through that program?
No, I'm going
You're going
to go into that program.
When do you start?
So this will be in September of this year. Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to take a little break here, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
I was undercover and had just recovered the stolen artwork, but...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with managing my insurance?
Well, long story long. I found the art thief in France, but ended up becoming somewhat of a local celebrity. so I had to stick around for a while. But I was able to handle all my insurance needs with CG's online portal.
The online portal. Safe, convenient, simple. CG Britgay. Good like that.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brack and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and we're hearing about police recruitment from Chief Inspector Wade Chase and Officer Shamar Dawkins. The caller also talked about people not testing the same way. Different people react to testing differently. Is there any way to handle that as far as in your setting?
Yeah, well, definitely. We're open to everyone, and if that is drawn to our attention before the testing actually is done, all right, we would put provisions based on the recommendations by a medical professional in order for that specific person or any person that brings it to our attention. It's not something that we can just pick out, but if specific persons bring it to our attention, we try to accommodate any person that brings it to our attention. And for persons who've already entered the training program, definitely anything that they get, any recommendations that they may get from a medical professional as to how they can perform, do exams, because throughout the entire 22-week, there's countless exams because we teach and we test on everything that we do. So if there are persons that have brought specific learning needs to us that are already part of the program, we do put provisions in place for those specific persons. And there have been persons that have brought this to our attention, and we have been able to work with them through this process.
Are you able to speak to the possibility of people who've had expungement, that's their crimes being accepted?
Two things. One being that it depends on the type of conviction that they had. That has to be considered, the type of conviction it is, the type of matter it is. And two, it will be at the discretion of the Commissioner of Police and his decision based on any persons who have an expunge record.
So Saturday, people are going to be able to come down to the new headquarters, and which is located where?
Eastern Avenue, the old floor building, Eastern Avenue. Yeah.
Okay. And
right by the traffic lights.
Yeah.
Can't miss it.
So you're going to be set up the different departments. Now, during the break, you said you would give them a sample of the physical test. What was the exercise that you were going to put them through?
It's a beep test.
What's that?
Where it is, you do a few, well, I don't want to say laps from one point to another, 15 meters. And it goes on for a while. You run to the beep. We will have a sample set up on Saturday as one of our displays, as well as several of our units, which will also be there. You can ask any questions, and we will also have a booth, ideally where persons can apply on site, as well as the barcode where they can scan, they can ask any questions, and they can actually fill out the forms right on the cell phone, the applications right on the cell phone.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit more about what the day is going to be like down there.
Well, the day, as we said, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it will be several different booths set up right in the parking lot to the front of the police station. And these booths will have all the different departments that I mentioned earlier, our air operations, K9, firearms, service delivery. And that way, you're able to ask any questions that you need to ask. You can actually practice the beep test, see if you meet the challenge of the beep test, see if you can actually run it easy, or if you need to do some work, and if we need to work with you, if there's any questions that you have. The training development unit will be there. I believe Officer Dawkins will be there. Will be traffic management team, as well as all the other departments that we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So tell us, what are some of the challenges that you face when you're out there patrolling for any potential recruit who would wonder what it is to be like on patrol?
Well, for traffic officers, it's a little bit different than any other department. Majority of the time, a traffic officer is single crewed, meaning that you work alone, and your passenger princess is probably a ticket book and a speed leader or a tint meter. But for traffic officers, you make decisions on your own. You don't have, per se, someone there to kind of help you make a decision. So for us, we have to be thinking on the spot at all points in time. And once you make a decision, you have to just commit to it. So, there's a lot of times that, you may need backup, that you have to request backup, but you do have to apprehend or arrest persons. And a lot of those times you're doing that alone. So, there's a little bit of issues for some persons. As you see, I'm quite slender. So, as you would imagine, sometimes, and for us as traffic ops, you never know what you're going to get at a traffic stop.
When you walk up to that car.
Exactly. So you may pull over a vehicle, and it's not until, that person gets out of the car, because it's happened to me before, and, it's a huge person. And, at the end of it, you come down to the decision that, hey, I'm going to have to arrest the person. So, you just have to commit to it. But you do get that training as to how to arrest persons.
So you have to know how to exert your authority.
Yes, most definitely.
And might I mention,
let them know who the policeman is here.
and help is never far away. That's the thing about police that we take very seriously, to ensure that even though an officer may seem to be alone, he always has that support by one call. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we do have a caller on the line, so let's take a call now. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Good afternoon. It's me again, giving trouble. So, Chief Inspector Chase, I wanted to ask, is there any incentives that RCIPS is offering in terms of like sign-up bonuses or anything like that to encourage qualified and experienced and very highly interested candidates to want to come to RCIPS? And why I ask that, because we know in this economical times things are really tough, and you want to make the force attractive, and not to say just use the fact that they're going to be a police officer, but you also want to make it attractive in terms of benefits and salary expectations. And the other question I wanted to ask, is there any, well, I guess it is, but you're probably not putting it out there because it's such a short interview, but persons who may come in with just a high school diploma, or who may come in with the CXCs, or who may come in with a college degree, an associate's or a bachelor's, or, certain experiences, is there consideration once they become a candidate that they may have different positions and departments to go to? And,
okay, let's get that answer, and because we got another caller we need to get in here.
Okay. Sorry. Ready?
I just want to say one more thing, and then you can answer when I jump off. Also, is there any consideration in terms of making sure that the issue of, I don't know how to say this, but I'm just going to say that Caymanians, you may know, but Caymanians have a concern of being in the force and feeling as a minority, or that they may not be selected for the process and that sort of thing. Is there anything you can say to encourage Caymanians to say, I know you can never be 100% sure, but I think it's something that needs to publicly be said to let Caymanians feel comfortable, because they have come to me with a lot of concerns.
Okay, let's get an answer to that, because we got a couple of callers hanging on. Okay, so let's get an answer to that.
Okay.
Thank you for the call.
Thank you for your call. First of all, the incentive really for us is the as far as the salary. We start at $48,000 a year. With the opportunity for allowances, as well as all the health benefits and everything being paid up. That's the first aspect of it. The second thing that we wanted to speak on was the opportunities to work in other departments once persons join the organization. Now, there's always opportunities to work in other departments. We have so many departments, but in the initial stages of policing right now is the 2-year probationary period, which is usually spent in the uniform departments. That's to give you the core of policing, where you can actually learn the streets, learn the job, and then you get the opportunity once you branch off that you're able to deal with anything that specialized departments may be required to deal with.
Okay, yeah. Let's take another call real quick here. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Charlo.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Charlo. How are you?
I'm fine. Go ahead. We don't have much time, but go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to ask the officers there. They were talking about one police officer in the traffic, like going out with just his radar gun and stuff like that, and arresting people. I don't know who started that, but I would like him to elaborate on that a little more, because I don't think I'm not a tired police officer, but I'm a retired one. And I worked in the traffic department too for a while in different areas. And even in training over in Barbados, we were told never go alone, because anything can happen when one police officer, and all police officers not police officers. And it is good that 2 persons travel and work together as a team, and not one police officer by himself going to arrest somebody on their own, because it is always better to have evidence, good evidence, and a backup person than you alone. So
okay, let's see if we can get an answer to what you were saying about how that's changed.
So thank you very much, caller. So what I was explaining is that our traffic department, as of now, we do patrol single crewed. We do understand what the caller is saying in terms of officer safety concerns, as well as evidential concerns, and also integrity concerns, I guess is what he's nudging at. So all officers of the traffic department, we do have body cams that we do wear. So there is never the shadow of doubt as to integrity when the officers are carrying out their duty, as well as for evidential purposes to capture commission of the offense and such. So that is what that is for those aspects. The other thing is, as Chief Inspector Chase is saying, backup is never far away. And as traffic officers as well, we do work on shifts, just as any other department where you have more than one person on shift. And you do have speed checkpoints that are set up where you may have more than one officers there. But ideally, traffic officers work single crewed.
Can you all stay a while longer? Because it seems that interest is picking up here. Do you have to go? Can you go
ahead? We can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, because we have to take a news break, and we do have a caller on the line. So please just hang in there until we come back from the news. We'll continue talking about police recruitment in the Cayman Islands. It is 1:00, so let's check in with the newsroom.
Information, entertainment, inspiration.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac.
Since 1976 till now.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Elizabeth Charles. The Rotary Club of the Cayman Islands Sunset is launching a new road safety campaign, urging drivers to change small everyday habits to help prevent crashes and save lives. In a release today, the club said the IFID known One Small Habit Can Change Everything initiative supports the government's 2023 National Road Safety Strategy, which aims to eliminate road deaths and serious injuries by 2038. In international news, Lithuania's defense minister says the future presence of United States troops in the country is, quote, under review as Washington reshapes its forces in Europe. Robertas Konas says the current U.S. rotation is leaving as planned, but the next group is not yet arriving and timing and troop strength has not been confirmed. In other news, Prime Minister Keir Starmer says he felt, quote, sick watching harrowing body cam footage of police handcuffing 18-year-old Henry Nowak as he repeatedly said, quote, I've been stabbed and, quote, I can't breathe after a night out in Southampton. In comments reported today, Starmer says there are, quote, serious questions for the police to answer, end quote, including how false accusations of a racist attack by killer Vikram Digwa informed officers' decision-making, and that it is absolutely right the Independent Office for Police Conduct investigates. Those are the latest headlines. I'm Elizabeth Charles.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Your Cayman Islands Health Services Authority has been the national healthcare provider of the Cayman Islands for many generations. We have elevated our level of care to ensure you, our patients, have the best possible experience. We offer better access to care close to home with the most locations on all 3 islands, delivering a full range of primary, secondary, tertiary, and emergency care. HSA is a JCI accredited organization, and we are committed to caring for you. Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Linton Nathaniel Tibbetts, 1923 to 2011. Linton Tibbetts was known throughout the Cayman Islands not only as a successful businessman, but as one who showed great interest in his homeland and invested time, money, and influence to help the welfare of his beloved sister islands. In the late 1960s, he organized the first annual Cayman Picnic, still held each July in the Tampa-St. Petersburg area, to bring together the many Caymanians living in the United States and encourage them to remember their roots. In 1972, Mr. Linton and several other successful Brackers started an air service between Florida and Cayman Brac to bolster the Sister Islands' embryonic tourism industry. The air service was later expanded to serve all 3 islands with a fleet of 7 planes. He built hotels and museums on both sister islands and was involved in establishing Cayman Brac Power and Light Company. Although his career was primarily devoted to operating his chain of building supply stores in Florida, he always visited the islands frequently and maintained close ties with his family and friends in Cayman. Mr. Linton and his wife Pauline, Miss Polly Nee Inix, had 4 children.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and a quick look at the weather. We are on a dust alert, and let's see what the Weather Service is saying about that. It says a plume of Saharan dust is expected to move across the Cayman Islands from this afternoon. Hazy conditions across all islands, and they're advising take precautions to reduce the risks and impacts from the dust. And let's see what our current temperature is here. 89 degrees. It feels like 105. Yeah. Okay. And the forecast for this evening, that is calling for partly cloudy and hazy skies tonight with a 30% chance of showers. The dust alert will be in effect, and temperatures will fall to the low 80s. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate. Wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. And the sun sets at 6:59. And I've heard that Saharan dust makes for some really beautiful sunsets. So maybe you get something good out of that dust. Well, we do have a caller on the line, and let's go to the phones. We are speaking about police recruitment. So, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hey, good afternoon to you, Charlo. Good afternoon to your guests there, the officers there.
Afternoon.
Listening in and out of my car here. Just have some thoughts, and one, I have a question and hopefully a suggestion and a query and hopefully a compliment. But you said something earlier. Is it a chief inspector there? Is that who it is?
Yeah, Chief Inspector Wade Chase.
Okay, hi, Chief Inspector Chase. There was a question in relation to expungement, which kind of caught my attention because I have any record personally, thank God. But that kind of caught my attention in terms of your response. I'm a little concerned of your response, and I'm just wondering. So the basis of an expungement law, as I understand it, is that you don't have a record anymore. Having sat on the parole commissioner's board, I suppose the only one that I was aware of that's not capable of being expunged is a conviction for murder. That was my understanding on the time, unless that's changed. So how does the RCIPS determine that somebody has a record if they supply something that says they don't have a record? I suppose is my thought. And if you're discriminating or allowed to discriminate, even though we have an expungement law, then what would stop other companies from doing the same thing would be my query. So that caught me. There could be people in the community who may have wanted to do something and have or had a record, a small one nonetheless. We know up until recently, well, it hasn't passed yet, ganja convictions were considered criminal, and hopefully that'll change soon. I know they're studying it, but anyway, the whole entire thought surrounding expungement really caught me in response, and that you are going to actually look at it. And I'm wondering, what are you looking at if they present a non-criminal record? That's the first thing. Second thing would be, have you ever thought about targeted? Because I would imagine, I would hope that the RCIPS thrust for recruitment is to do with hiring Caymanians. And so have you thought about doing targeted things? So rather than just putting ads and waiting for someone to come out, where your HR department is specifically targeting people, whether it is going to our work department and say, give us a list of some people, some young men, some young women, make us have a look at some of their qualifications, on the portal or whatever, and saying, hey, have you thought about the RCIPS? Here are some of the benefits. Do you know that, we do forensic science there? So more targeted things. If you can get 10 Caymanians to come in through your door in that fashion, then I think you would have done really well. And then kind of dovetailing that thought was the retention factor. I know of a few Caymanians, young Caymanians, who joined the force over the years, some who transitioned to other departments, outside of RCIPS, and I've heard some of their stories. I can think of one right now, very able young Kimayan who was amazing in my view, made an excellent officer, and he told me some horror stories in there. And so it has to do with a number of different things, but what is your thoughts surrounding retention of Kimayans who come into your door? Because it's one thing to have a nice recruiting session of 20 people, and in 1 year time you've lost 10 of them. And are you taking feedback about why young Kimayans are not are staying in the service? And I guess the last thing would kind of be more of a compliment. It was good to hear the salary scale that you're offering for officers. So I've done the math, 4,000 CI a month, 5,000 US. And to be clear, for any Kimayans who are listening, when you're talking about being a civil servant, you don't have deductions for pensions and health. You do, but you don't. It's on the books, but it doesn't come out of your $4,000. So that's your take-home pay, and everything else is paid for. So that's admirable, and I hope that the drive is a successful one. I wanted to bring up a personal matter because yesterday was the first time I had an engagement with the police on behalf of a younger sibling that I didn't think went really well, but that's for another time and another day. Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for the call.
All right. Thank you so much for the question and for the way you format the questions. So I'll start with the first one in relation to the expungement of the records. Well, just be sure that anything that's done, it will be done in line with the law itself. So we won't go outside the law in anything that we do when it comes to our hiring practices. And I won't speak more on it because it will be at the discretionary commissioner for any decisions he makes. So I wouldn't be the person making the decision. It will be Commissioner of Police on that end. For the second question in relation to targeted recruitment, that is definitely a good idea. We do have some aspects of targeted recruitment, whereas we are doing the schools. We do have career fairs with the schools, our open days, and our HR department. I'm certain that they work really well with work in terms of persons that are interested. We do have quite a few persons applying. We do have a big application pool of persons who do apply, KMIs who do apply for the positions in the police. But anything that's creative to get more persons in is always good. So we will take the suggestion. I'll take it back to our HR department if they aren't doing it already. But any creative means by which that we are able to improve our recruitment, good with that.
So you outside of a recruitment drive, you still have people seeking to join?
Yeah, consistently. We do have people consistently seeking to join. We do have people coming into the training department office as well as coming to try to meet the HR department to join. So we do think, but moving forward, we're looking at 2 recruitment campaigns per year, where we have one in the beginning of the year and one at the second part of the year. So we are trying to get more persons in. And I'll move right into the third question in the interest of time, as well as our retention. Now, we do take retention very seriously, and it's expensive to recruit some persons. So to recruit them, we would like to keep them. We would like, especially some persons that are really young, intelligent, and stuff like that. I always take from the deputy governor, one of the things that he said, if we do recruit persons, if I recruit some person, I train them, I treat them well, and they choose to move on. I have to be happy for them, and I will be very happy for any person that moves on to a different department based on improving themselves and other opportunities, because we don't want to stop people from opportunities. But if it's something within us that we are not doing and that we're not doing properly, it's something that we got to examine and look at better. So we do exit interviews. We do speak to these young persons when they do leave or when they're interested in leaving and going to other departments. And we do try to improve on the things that some of these stories that we might hear that our officer might leave, but it's very, very, very important to us, retention and keeping persons interested and ensuring that they have the opportunities that the organization have to offer. But
do you consider that there's a problem with retention?
Well,
especially Caymanian officers.
There are persons who do leave the organization for other organizations. Sometimes parallel movement, sometimes is movement for better. But because of the whole risk management around police, the risk management training around police, and police being able to stay calm under pressure and stuff like that, in modern times, a lot of organizations see this as beneficial. So you find that ex-police officers work everywhere, and there are lots of opportunities for ex-police officers now. So us as an organization continue to train persons. We work on consistently retaining them, keeping them interested, letting young persons especially see the opportunities in jobs. But often young people, they have other opportunities, and if there's another opportunity that some person moves on to, we just got to make sure that ours remain competitive. Yeah.
We do have another caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Chief Inspector Chase.
Good afternoon.
Hello, the listening public. Chief, can you let us know, out of the last 2 batches of recruits that graduated, how many have left? That's one question. The next question is, you utilizing the community department officers who are out there within the community to identify persons who would make a good police officers, because I will say this, that our current commissioner came from the officer who was in charge of the BRAC at the time, going into the community and talking and encouraging him to join RCIPS, and he's now the commissioner. So I would like for you to take it back to management and task the community police officers them to identify persons within the respective beats who they feel that would make good police officers, and make that initial approach to them.
All right. Well, thank you for the call.
Okay.
I'm not through yet, Chalo.
Okay, go ahead.
The other young man with Officer Chase, I know him personally. I must say he is doing a fine job in working within the traffic department. However, I know the traffic department is very, very understaffed, and I just want to use this medium to remind management that traffic on the roads of the Cayman Islands today is of paramount importance. And the number of officers we got there today cannot suffice. Of what we had 20 years ago. And I challenge anybody to show me different. We need to boost the complement. The traffic department officers are overworked. You have, for example, the bike men. Those motorcycles should be on the road every day. We are the only country in the Caribbean that I see that got motorcycles, and you see them out today, and next loosen up for the next 2-3 weeks. That is not good enough. They need to be out there in the mornings, midday, and in the evenings. And we need to identify persons who come into the service that has particular skills and retain the skills. There's something fundamental wrong. Why we are losing so many officers per year? Mr. Chase, can you tell me why that from your surveys as to what is the main cause of us not retaining officers?
All right, is that it? We'll get answers to your points. Okay, well, thank you for the call.
Thank you for calling, caller.
Yeah.
Thank you, caller, for calling. And now, high on our agenda is always retention. So there's recruitment and retention. They go hand in hand. As I said, recruitment is a long process. So our goal is not just to recruit persons, but to keep them. That being said, I'm unable to give you the exact numbers of the officers that have left that have recently been recruited. But what I can say is the majority have stayed. Right? There have been some that have left for other opportunities, some that have left for various reasons. But what we continue to do is to do exit interviews. We do look back to our HR department to see what we can do better. We have meetings to discuss it, and then we put a plan in place to see how we can consistently improve in terms of how do we prepare these persons, these young recruits and probationers to better serve the community. Policing itself is a lot of work as well, and is something that we have to consistently, through training and preparing persons when they come out of training, so that they're able to deal with the day-to-day of the job itself. And shorter staff is a big thing that throughout the entire government, but police specifically, we do have shortages of staff. But the commissioner and his team, they are working on recruitment, a bigger recruitment campaign this year. This year being 2 recruitment campaigns for the year alone for officers, where we will have more officers on the streets at any given time. So that will also answer the question in relation to the traffic department. Additionally, community police officers being more involved in the recruitment process. That is big on our agenda. We do have community police officers working consistently with the schools, identifying persons, providing us with information and names, people who are interested, interns, whatever. But any avenue that's available to us, we utilize for our recruitment processes and to ensure, and we are always welcoming feedback. So these calls and everything, when I listen to your show over again, these are all feedback that we will be able to look at and see how we could consistently improve, because no department has it perfect, but what we do pride ourselves in as a department who consistently is evolving. We are consistently trying to improve and to be better as an organization for the Cayman Islands community.
You said that part of the process is a pretty in-depth interview with the candidate. Is that where you more or less determine, like, is this person a good fit? Is this job for this person?
Yes, but it all forms a part of, is a series of things that we get to, be it the exam, be it the interview, be it the background check. So it's not just the interview, but just like anything else, the interview helps us to establish, and helps you, the person who's being interviewed, establish if this is the job for you. Mm-hmm. This is where we have a conversation basically, and a reality check as to what the job will expect you to do, as well as a little about yourself. We learn about yourself. We learn about how it fits and stuff like that into policing, and how that if it's something that you want. And we tell you a little bit more about what the job is all about, the training program, the lengthy training program, night work. Because a lot of people don't. Shift. A lot of people don't really understand shift until you work shift. You know that it really, a 12-hour shift is a very, very long time to be away from your family, and it's a long time to be things. So we gotta be realistic as well when we do speak to young persons, because at the end of the day, coming out to school, you know that school starts from 9 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. till 3 p.m. and then the rest of the evening is yours, right? And weekends and holidays are yours. But that is not the job that we do serve. So we need persons, and we consistently look for persons who are community-minded, and we try to allow them to understand the expectations of the jobs, because it is a lot. But once you get through the training, you get through the initial stage of your job, you'll find that it's a very, very rewarding career.
Is that the regular shift, the 12 hours?
It's 12 hours, but it is 4 12-hour shifts. So it is 2 mornings, 2 evenings, and then 4 days off.
Now, in your interview or through the process of the whole recruitment and training, is there any kind of look at the psychology of the person, a person who may have a short temper, quick to fly off the handle in a tense situation?
Yeah, I don't want to go too much into what the interview actually is, but it does cover questions along that line to basically test how a person will react to specific situations, and it gives us a idea of the person's temperament and stuff like that.
So you set up scenarios?
Some aspects of it, yeah.
And also important to note that once they're accepted into the recruitment process as well, they do get an opportunity to actually do some aspects of road and community policing as well. So they do get temporary attachments to traffic or to community policing, just so that they're able to actually work that shift, feel the strains of that shift, know what is like a day-to-day for the job itself. So recruits also get that opportunity as well.
So that's part of the training? Or?
That's part of the training rather than the recruitment. So, for example, in the open day, they may come and ask questions as towards, what is the regular day-to-day, what are some of the equipments that you use, that sort of thing, that they get a feel to see if the job, may fit. But going along the recruitment process, there's more of a fine-tune to say, hey, is this job really for me? Can I really live up to the expectations of the job? And then they go into training.
So let's make sure everyone knows when this open house and recruitment for potential candidates for police is going to happen.
All right. The open house is on this Saturday, the 6th of June. It is between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. So come out and see if the job is for you. Come out, have conversations with the various department heads, as well as the persons who operate on the day-to-day basis. Come see our equipment and come see if it's something that you'll be interested in.
So this is at the new headquarters on
New
Eastern
police
Avenue.
headquarters on Eastern Avenue, the old floor building right by the traffic lights. Can't miss it.
All right, let's see if we can get a call in here. Good afternoon, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Charlie. Just one final question. It is to Chief Pet Chase. The current setup with the training down at Westby Road, do you find that to be conducive to putting out a proper, well-groomed police officer, taking into consideration that you don't have control over that recruit for over 12 hours? Also taking into consideration that you're coming from a background where the training school was a separate entity apart away from the police station, whereas you had control over the recruits until he or she graduated. Are you satisfied with the current setup?
Well, I can answer your question. With the current setup, I've seen several young police officers that have come out and they have done exceptionally well. So the setup does have its benefits. However, in recent times, we're consistently reviewing the program, and now the program has been increased to 22 weeks so that we could cover more stuff. As for living lodging, that is not something that is open to right now that we have available in terms of where that you could sleep in. Haven't been trained in Barbados, and I think that's what you're talking about, caller, but haven't been trained in Barbados, we do spend 6, almost 7 months in. That does have its benefits, but our programs are pretty much now mirroring the training that goes on in Barbados and other jurisdictions where we consistently communicate. We do look at how those programs are run, and we've now increased our programs to 22 weeks where we cover a very similar syllabus.
Okay. Thank you for the call. Let's see if we can, is there another caller? The final call on this. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, Charles. Sorry to call you back again, man, but thanks, Chief Inspector, for the response earlier, and just the recent talk triggered a couple other things. I suspect that there is help for recruits, not just recruits, but for officers, period, in terms of it being a very stressful role. I remember some time ago I looked at the most tense, most stressful roles. Air traffic controller was actually number 1, but police officer was within the top 10. And I had a very good friend of mine one time, well, 2 actually, who was an officer themselves, and the other one was the spouse of an officer. And one of the things that I remember the spouse saying at the time was how very difficult it was sometimes with their loved one, because the stress was high. They're not able to offer things like pillow talk on things, operations that take place, so they don't have any outlet. So I was wondering what was some of the wellness considerations for officers in RCIPS in terms of them being able to speak with professionals to help them through the stress levels and to deal with those kind of things out that I think could be useful, certainly for young recruits in a very small community. And you know, because they're dealing with things, you know, if we may have a murder and they may find somebody that they know, or they come upon a lot of traffic accidents with people who are hurt and injured, and how do they process through that in a very small community. And I think that can be a really big impact if you're a Caymanian within Cayman. You may be able to suspend it somewhat, although I would hope our foreign officers are human, so they'll still have to process it. But a Caymanian coming on a really bad traffic accident and it's Joe down the street that you know, it may be a little bit more difficult to process or to let go. And then the final thing would be, so if you could speak about the wellness programs there. And then finally, the only major challenge that I have with our traffic department is that it seems to be along the whole notion of how can we stop traffic. And I say that, you know, almost tongue in cheek, but, you know, traffic stops, cones everywhere, sometimes when they're unnecessary, and the whole nine. Like, does our traffic department have an ethos that talks about keeping traffic flowing? You know, we recently got those speed calming things. You know, I thought that was, in my view, we put too many, and that's for another day, but I think that could have been better addressed if our traffic officers were on the road seeking to, you know, catch speeders on certain roads that they know that they're speeding a lot. And as a result, now we're managing that by way of making everybody else inconvenient. But does the traffic department focus on also keeping traffic moving? So that gentleman that called a while ago, they talked about using motorbikes, or when they get into major traffic accidents, the police themselves sometimes block the road a lot, where they don't try to immediately try to get it going, in my view. So just, you know, something to think about. Thank you.
All right. We can reply to that. Thanks for the call.
All right. Thank you, first of all, caller, for the concern in terms of the mental well-being and the welfare of the police officers. We're very, very big on, as an organization, on mental health first aid. And recently there's been a study in terms of the amount of traumatic events that a person usually goes through in their lifetime. The average person, they say, is something like 4. And that's a high number for persons to actually go through a traumatic event in their life. And they say for police officers is over 400.
Wow.
Right? And so 4 is like a Friday night. Some Friday nights or Saturday nights or even Sunday nights could be quite traumatic as a police officer. And mental well-being is very, very high on our agenda, very, very important for us. So first of all, we do have a wellness department that was recently initiated last year, and that was initiated by Commissioner of Police, because that is one of his strategic objectives in terms of how he looks after his strategic priorities as to how he looks after his officers. So we do have the Employee Assistance Program, which is the EAP that is the #1 program that police officers have readily available to them, as well as all government officers. But there are other programs and other persons trained within the organization, Dr. Ian Levine being one of the persons who is trained. But we do also solicit the assistance of other external persons, external organizations that also provides that help for officers. So should the help or the assistance be more severe than what is provided by the Employee Assistance Program. So we do take it very seriously. Officers are always encouraged to come forward when there is a traumatic event. We do look after that specific officer's well-being or the team. We do have feedback sessions and stuff like that for the officers. So it is something that we recognize as an organization, and we are looking into it consistently. Yeah.
And traffic?
And for the questions relating to traffic, so the caller said if we could set up more speed checkpoints. So as mentioned earlier on the call or on the show, We are a bit understaffed. There is about 16 constables in traffic. So we do try to maximize as much as possible when it comes on to ensuring that we're doing road enforcement, but you also have to appreciate that there's a high volume of traffic collisions that occur on our roads. So we try to mitigate anywhere in between response and enforcement. The other query that was
keep traffic flowing.
Yes, to ensure that traffic is flowing. So I took on an initiative for myself. Anytime I'm on a morning shift, I post myself at the Agnes Way roundabout. That's along Linford Pearson, where persons try to merge in, and this causes a congestion or additional congestion to the traffic that's there. So that's an initiative that I take. Other shifts do have their own initiatives that they take. I once I'm available or free to do so, I also manage the traffic that's at the Bobby Thompson roundabout. Bobby Thompson traffic light, where you'll see persons, the light is on amber, and they'll come and they'll block the traffic junction box, and that creates a congestion for other persons who are on different lanes trying to come through the junction box. So there's things that we do to try to bring down the amount of congestions that we do have on our roads. But sadly, for Cayman, majority of our roads, it all leads back to one place. So we do have to expect, yes,
gets you.
We do have to expect some form of congestion. A caller also rose a point early on that we do have motorcycle cops, but you don't see the motorcycle. I am also a motorcycle cop, and we do have some challenges when it comes on to the motorcycle, in terms of having to effect arrest and stuff of that sort. So if the shift is short, where persons are out sick or persons are on annual leave, you may not see a motorbike on the road. But each shift have just about 2 motorcycle cops each on it. So there is the motorcycle. You may glimpse the motorcycle, but sadly you may not see the motorcycle every day.
Because the cars are more efficient as far as
more efficient,
getting the job done.
Yes. The other question that was, or concern that was risen, was the use of traffic cones. Now, all the time it's the police that's putting cones on the road. A lot of time it's NRA or Island Paving or the traffic controllers, which is a different agency from police. And the other thing concerning road fatalities. So when we do have a road, knock on wood, but when we do have a road fatality, we generally have to map the scene, where we're identifying key points of evidence, road markings, the locations of vehicles, and documenting just about everything that's within that scene. So where you do see police vehicles cordoning off a road, that is what's happening within that scene, and making sure that we have adequate photographs. And the traffic department has recently acquired 2 new pieces of technology, one being the Trimble. And what the Trimble does, it's going to eliminate the use of measuring tape, which takes up majority of the time being on an accident. And the Trimble uses satellite imaging and satellite points of coordination, where you're setting it up, you're walking around, and it's simply a press of a button that we're being able to log where specific things are. So this is road lines, road edge, pedestrians, if there be a pedestrian in that scene, vehicles, points of evidence, and you could take photographs. And this is able to do the sketch for the officer, so it's cutting down on the time that
saves a lot of time.
Yes,
Definitely.
And we've also acquired a laser imager, which would also document the entirety of the scene. So officers will be able to set up this imager at different points in the scene, and it's able to create a complete image where it's like walking back through the scene, where it's documenting everything. So we do see with the general public. Also remember that the police is a part of the general public, and we do know that there's concerns there, and the police are always actively researching new ways and techniques to make it more appeasing for the general public.
All right. So anyone interested in being a police officer, this Saturday is the day for you to find out more about it at the new headquarters on Eastern Avenue.
Yeah.
And it starts from
9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
All right. So go there. You can get all the details on how to become a police officer and what is involved. Chief Inspector Wade Chase and Officer Shamar Dawkins, thank you so much for coming in.
Yes,
very interesting discussion.
Definitely.
It was.
Have a good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Many thanks.
More talk today after this.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Celebrating 50 years of broadcasting in the Cayman Islands, this is Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and for the rest of the show, it's open line. Numbers to call 1-800-534-8255. That's courtesy of Flo. You can also reach the show at 949-8037 or 949-6990. And WhatsApp, that number is 925-3261. And we heard all about the recruitment and what give us a little glimpse of what it's like to be a police officer in the Cayman Islands, and it is it can be a challenging profession for sure. It's not like going to the office every day and sitting behind a desk, right? I mean, once you get in that car and go out on patrol, you never know what the day is going to bring. As the chief inspector was saying, there no 2 days are alike. And I guess we have to remember that sort of thing when, we sometimes, complain about the police. But, police can't be everywhere. It would take an awful number of police to be, in every street corner and patrolling every road. And, I guess in some places where you have a police state, it might be like that, right? It's like that old song, somebody's watching you. But that's not how it is in, a free society. And it's good to see young officers like Officer Dawkins there. He's 5 years in, and saying he never regrets or thinks about leaving the police leaving the police service. And in fact, he's going to be going off to university. He's got awarded a scholarship to go to university to study law enforcement. We do have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hi, Mr. Glidden. I had a comment now that your guests are gone.
Uh-huh.
And I see your watching audience has went from 14 to 26.
Well, there are a lot more out there listening to the radio.
That are listening to the radio. Absolutely, absolutely. What I wanted to see is that I think after the process of, first and foremost, recruiting Caymanians, I believe that the RCIPS can look to recruiting from our fellow Caribbean islands. We know many years ago we had officers that, I don't know if they were recruited or they just came to island, because, back in the day, a lot of Caymanians went to the Caribbean islands, other Caribbean islands, to go to school, like, Trinidad and
a lot of people went to Jamaica.
A lot of people went to Jamaica, but I think we have a substantial amount of officers from Jamaica now that we can look to other jurisdictions, and that's not prejudicial against Jamaica. I'm just saying, in order to have for us to have what I like to say a healthy balance, we can start to look from other jurisdictions, because we know back in the days we had a lot of officers that were from other Caribbean jurisdictions, and they came here and they married Caymanians, or they married Caymanians while they were overseas in their universities and colleges, and they migrated here with them and started their families and joined the forces. And I think that would be a healthy thing to happen again after we've eliminated the fact that we may not have gotten enough Caymanian officers as we would like to get.
And I've always been under the impression that we do, have recruited quite a few Caribbean officers. Because, I've had, interactions with quite a few people from around the Caribbean that are in the service.
You're talking in present day?
Yeah.
Okay. I know some, many have retired, and then some have been there long term. But I still think it would be healthy to perhaps consider that, and maybe even recruiting again from the UK, as they did some years ago. Could be a further consideration. But first and foremost, you heard me. I was very, very open and transparent with my questions and my comments. But I do hope and believe, and I feel confident that what they're giving their word to do is happening. Is that they're trying their endeavor best to recruit Caymanians. I know a lot.
Well, I'm sure that's at the top of the commissioner's priorities.
Yes. I do believe so wholeheartedly. And so I would like to, once they pass that stage, like I said publicly, I've had people, because I put it out on my social media and on my WhatsApp, and encourage parents and young people that I know. And I would like to, I've had a lot of feedback, what I call a lot of feedback and concerns. And, I'm sure they know some of the concerns is that once Caymanians get into the force, and this goes back to retention for various reasons, of course, but one of the reasons is that they start to feel isolated, or that they're like a minority, which is kind of being set against and that sort of thing, and feeling like certain nationalities in there are becoming more dominating or dominant in presence and so forth and whatnot. And so I can't imagine that the commissioner has an easy job at all, but I am having the best confidence to hope that he's doing, and those behind him, like Chief Inspector Chase, who we can hear is originally from another Caribbean island himself, that they'll do the best that they can to try to make sure that we have a healthy, even balance with Caymanians at the forefront, And it's always good to put a familiar face, a familiar, recognizable, I would say, because Caymanians are very funny people. I'm just going to close off with this. Caymanians are funny people, and we have a right to be, because every other country you go to, their people is on the front line. Their people is first and front and foremost. And so we are becoming that little nation that's not happening with us. And Caymanians are becoming very territorial and funny and nitty-picky with that sort of thing. And we have every right to be. And so I encourage the RCIPS also to put as much new recruits, Caymanians, original generational Caymanian new recruits to the forefront as they can, to encourage Caymanians, especially in these outer districts. Georgetown, they might get away with some things, but in the outer districts and stuff, we like Chief Inspector Chase said, we want to recruit people that know people from the community and have gone to school and grown and worked with, with the recruits and that sort of thing. So they need to start putting those faces on the front line. Also,
Well, it sounds like they're trying.
Yes.
But I got to take a break.
Yes, go ahead.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling back. We'll be right back. Hang in there for callers.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit Cineco.ky today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
It's here. Multi-year trade and business licenses are now available. You heard right. You can apply for TBLs up to 5 years. Save time, reduce paperwork, and focus on growing your business. Apply online at dci.gov.ky. Apply for your multi-year trade and business licenses today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. Let's go straight to the phone lines. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Charlie.
Yes.
Good. Yes, I quite appreciated that talk there with the officer and the inspector and the officer there, Chase and Dawkins. And listening to what the callers were saying, but the caller who was talking about comparing it to America and the United States, when I was in the car washing business there, I handled over 7 police departments, including the FBI. What we've got to remember is they have affirmative action in recruitment and in every government department, especially police.
Or they used
and
to.
The fire, they used to. I still think it's on.
Yeah, depending on where.
Depends. It all depends on also the businesses that work with the police, that supply them with stuff on private businesses, which are huge, that depend on government contracts, also have to obey that affirmative action rule. The other thing is that all police in the United States have to be armed. That's a federal rule, federal regulation. It's not just state nor county, but so there's a difference. There's a difference between firearm use, and I'm wondering, I want to ask Inspector Chase if they're going to be, and if they are training firearm use and thinking about arming even one officer out of the two that are usually in a car. But because this is a very, very different game, man. We're talking about, the things that Shulette was talking about and the other who called. Those are different days. These are different days. This is also a day of human rights coming into play. So it makes a difference in how policing is done. It has to. No one can tell me that it doesn't. And so there are many aspects that have to be considered as we move along in policing. Because we notice that there's almost one or two gun crimes every week now. Every week, every day, there's a robbery. There was one yesterday, I think, more with guns and weapons and knives and machetes and so forth. So it's very, very different. We have much more people here now, and recruiting from all over. It was always that way. They always had policemen from Barbados, Belize, and Jamaica in particular, because we were actually controlled under the British governors here for many, many, many years and so forth, run as the westernmost parish. So there's a connection. All has been and all this will be. But we have to try and recruit Caymanian police, and we have to try and think differently. And their police are human just like everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what we have to think of. They're not super people. It's like thinking about doctors are superhuman doctors, and they're not. They're human too. They have their human traits and frailties and everything. I'd really like to see them step up something against the loud pounding music that's played around people's houses. But on the streets passing by.
Oh, yeah.
At 3, 4
Cars.
o'clock in the morning. I'm talking about, I love music, but terrible pounding. This is like a pounding bass that vibrates your roof, your windows, everything. It should not be. This should not be. And it can be stopped. But there has to be the will, firstly of all, elected representatives to see that this is stopped and enforced. Laws and then years, not too long ago, they would stop you for too much noise in your car, the muffler and so forth, and we know this.
I want to say that there's something somewhere in the law there about disturbing the peace and a nuisance.
Yes. But I'd really like to see something done about that. Something done about it. But like I said, just takes the courage. But we've got to think, this is a very, very different game, man, from what we're thinking of in the late 60s, 70s, even into the early 80s. It's very, very different. And it's not going to go back, I'm sorry to say, to those days, way of thinking on our people and so forth. And if we can try and recruit some Caymanians, it would be a very, very good idea.
I think they're trying. I think they're trying very hard to, bring Caymanians into the service.
And we have to accept that we've got to still enforce the principles of yesteryear in today when you do something like policing, because the people expect it. People expect it. So, but
you notice the young man there, Dawkins, was talking about integrity.
Yes, integrity. That's the thing. Integrity. But anyway, I'm sure they're considering these things. But like I say, we may have to, and I've said this for many years, and many other people have said it too, we may have to think about, in the very near future, arming our police officers, and they must be trained to use firearms. That should be one of the most important initiatives, the first of the principles that as a police officer, you'll have to learn to be trained to use firearms.
Well, Mickey, you know what time it is, right? Tell us the time. Good to hear from you.
Yes, that's it.
It's 2 o'clock. Let's check in with the newsroom.
Radio station. Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With your latest headlines, I'm Elizabeth Charles. Police are carrying out an incident response in the Crew Road and Linford Pearson area and are actively searching for a person of interest. In a public advisory, the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service said the man is described as dark-skinned with dreads, wearing knee-length black shorts and a white tank top, and carrying a black bag. Officers are asking anyone in the area who sees someone matching that description or notices any suspicious activity to call 911. In international news, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says many Americans have suffered serious complications, including bacterial infections and deaths, after traveling in the United States and abroad for cosmetic procedures. In a statement today, the agency cited a study of more than 2,100 cases and urged stronger monitoring and better patient education to detect problems early. In other news, a new Stanford Law School study finds law professors overwhelmingly preferred answers drafted by artificial intelligence over ones written by fellow professors. Researchers say faculty judged AI responses as more helpful to students about 75% of the time, suggesting AI tools may be capable of legal reasoning and useful as law school tutors. Those are the latest headlines. I'm Elizabeth Charles.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and before we go to the phone lines, a quick look at the weather. It is 89 degrees out there, but it feels like 106. And there's a dust alert for all 3 Cayman Islands. Sahara dust plume is moving through our area this afternoon. So if you have any kind of respiratory conditions, just remember that before you go and just hang out outdoors. And taking a look here for what the forecast is for this evening. Whoops, got the wrong tab. Let's try that again. Yes, the forecast for tonight, partly cloudy and hazy with a 30% chance of showers. A dust alert will be in effect this evening also. Temperatures will fall to the low 80s. Winds out of the east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet, and sunset is at 6:59. Let's go to the phone lines. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Hey, Shalom.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I've been waiting on this number from yesterday, man. Yeah, Shalom, boy. Concerning the police, let me tell you, man. we all Caymanians would love to see a full Caymanian force here. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But since the days of recruiting from foreign, of all of them, English and everybody, I would have to give the Bajans the praise. The Bajan police came here to work with us or for us. And let me tell you, every one of them, in a matter of time, was promoted to higher office. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best detectives we had in Cayman Islands was the Bajans. Barbados, the only nation that know how keep functions to help problems in Cayman Islands. I don't know no other nation, no British, no Jamaica, nobody ever do that in Cayman. So I really have to give the praises to them. Second is the Belizean police. Been some problems with them, but things were pressed out. And in the end, the Belizean police has been very good to Cayman Islands as well. You understand?
Well, thank you for your review.
I don't hear that.
I say thanks for the review.
Yeah.
Your review of policing in Cayman Islands by non-Caymanians.
Yeah, well, I lived here a couple of moons now.
Mm-hmm.
So really watch all these things, But right now, Chalo, that's what I would like to see after traveling up to some Eastern Caribbean countries. Small, maybe smaller than us. But when it comes to security, it's them who secure themselves. You understand?
I'm not sure.
And we'll talk about work. You don't find you don't find the islands mixed up when it comes to small jobs like Burger King and them places and things. It's them. They take the small jobs, everything. So, that's where we Caribbean people come from, man. We come off a long struggle to reach where we are today. All of us, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So, tell us a lot more we could say, but someone else want to talk to. So later, my boss.
All right, good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Well, the police do have an accident that they're working right now in the Butterfield roundabout there by A.L. Thompson. Well, from the picture that I'm seeing, it looks like traffic is moving pretty well, but you might, if you're going through Butterfield roundabout, you might experience a hold-up because there is an accident there. And back to the phone lines. Let's. Good afternoon. You're on the Overtalk today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Moderator.
Hi. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm as usual between fine and excellent. I'm not going to complain, my friend.
What's up today?
Just listening to talk about the police and recruiting police.
Mm-hmm.
I personally know a few young Caymanians that have tried to get in, filled out their application, and went through all of the necessary procedures. And as I understand it, they didn't get much success in joining the force.
Is that because of their results on the test or the fitness test?
Their education standard and their physical, everything else should be intact. It is something that I get the feeling, like others, that Caymanians are sort of rejected in their own country when it comes to policing this island. Having said that, it's 5 brothers of us.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my brother Leroy, we were police in the late 60s. The youngest brother, he was a law enforcement. He was a senior custom officer. But something needs to really unshackle in order for Caymanians to get a break into the police force. And I want to add on to that. The parents are saying that they don't want their children to be police. That is so deadly wrong.
Why are they saying that?
I don't know. They don't want their son or their daughter to be police. So what can you expect when you bring people from other jurisdictions? You know?
Yeah, somebody has to fill the role.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I would like to say when it comes to other nationalities, specifically from the Caribbean, some of the most outstanding officers I have met, they're mostly from Barbados, well-educated, well-disciplined, and a lot of them are polite. I can say a lot of good things about them. Not to say that I can't say something good about Jamaica or some other police officers. But I think Barbadians are sort of outstanding too. And your last caller has said, you know, we should look to other Caribbean countries to see if it's a possibility. And then last of all, I don't see the amount of English officers that I and others would be expecting to see in this island. Specifically from Scotland or Ireland, we need to see more of those officers in this island because they are proper, trained officers, and we need more of that. And they said, well, you can't take no more Caymanians because they got family. Well, look at the other nationalities from where they're coming from. They have a jurum of their families here, so they throw in cold water and everything that might be an offense, most of it. So I would like to see people from England, Scotland, Ireland to come in here to help police this island. And I hope that I'm wrong, but I wonder if there's not some kind of resentment that's why they are not coming here, or some thing that is not so pleasant to them or us or something. But I just hope that they would get onto it and do the right thing. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thanks for the call. Well, you know, it was mentioned about Caymanians not being given the opportunity or, you know, the breaks to get in, or even being prevented from joining the police service. I really cannot see that happening, you know, under the command of Commissioner Walton. You would really have to prove that outright to me for me to believe that is, you know, happening under his watch. We got to take a break. Be right back.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Calling Caymanians. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service is hiring local recruits. Are you interested in serving your community on the front line? Apply now to join our ranks in service to the Cayman Islands. As a police officer, you make a difference. Be a part of a team and experience a job where no two shifts are the same. The deadline for applications is Sunday, June 14th at midnight. Visit rcips.ky to apply now and start your journey with the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and let's go straight to the phone lines. Good afternoon, you're on the air.
Mr. Glidden, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I just tuned in, and I hear my good friend from West Bay, Arman, on the radio, regarding the recruitment of
police officers.
Yeah, and I totally agree with him, because I remember when I was in the Merchant Marine going to Sea Charles, we had just about every nationality that you could think about on the ship. Norwegian, the Greeks, the Irish, the Scottish, the Americans, not so many of the Americans, because most of the Americans was either captain of the ships, but the whole idea of they coming under the Liberian flag was so they didn't have to recruit Americans because of the cost. That's what that was all about. So they registered themselves under the Liberian flag, which they could recruit from any other part of the world. And normally it would cost a lot less than what you would normally pay an American, like a captain, a chief engineer, first engineer, chief mate, third mate, second mate, and people like that. There was one particular group of people, and they were the Greeks, all right? And let me tell you something about when you get a Greek on a ship as mostly they were sailing as chief engineer. That was mainly their position. They had a lot of theory, but they had no practical whatsoever, right? So they came on the ship and they learned how things went from the different nationalities that was there, whether it was from Grenada, St. Vincent, Barbados, Trinidad, wherever they were from, right? Seasoned, seamen.
Right.
Know the ropes. They learned from them. And once they learned from them, you know what their objective was after that?
Get to the top?
Okay. No. They're already to the top.
Okay.
Because they're chief, right? So there's nobody higher than a chief. Their objective is I know how everything works there. That first engineer that we have, I'm going to replace him with one of my own people, right? And then it just went down the line. When you know again that the first engineer he brought was a Greek from his own country, and then the second engineer was a Greek, and then the third engineer, and then it goes right down to junior third and stuff like that. Well, that was his whole objective, right? And my point is, right, we have to have Caymanians in position in this country when it comes to recruiting. You cannot put no other nationality out there to do any type of recruiting or in any position whatsoever to recruit people in, because I know exactly who they got to recruit and what country they got to come from. Their own, right? They're not going to say, we're going to recruit Caymanians. No. It don't work like that. So until we get Caymanians in the position to do all of the recruiting in this country, then you know what? It's not going to be good for this country, because, I try hard not to get in any kind of problems especially on the road. I try to drive sensible. I drive careful. I stay away from that idiot that is in the front of me. I stay as far away from that idiot as I can possibly stay away from. And I sometimes the idiot behind me, I mean, I'm 4 or 5 car lengths away from the idiot in front of me, but then this other idiot that is behind me, he's inches away from my car, right? So it don't matter whether you're a 4 or 5 car lengths away from the car in front of you. There'll still be somebody right up in the back of you, right? And that is the kind of thing that we cannot allow. And these are the problems that we are creating for our own. So watch out, be careful, Charles.
But let me ask you. You said you didn't catch the whole discussion about the recruitment, right?
I did not know.
So one of the things, though, that Chief Inspector Wade Chase said, that this particular recruitment drive that they are on now, that they're having on Saturday for people to come down to the headquarters, this is Caymanian only. You have to be Caymanian to be accepted into this recruitment drive. He said that very clearly.
What is Caymanian, Charles?
Well, that if a person has status, they're Caymanian, right?
Okay, that's my point.
Right?
That's my point. So be careful with that word when you say Caymanians, because if he had said indigenous Caymanians only, right? We want certain amount of indigenous Caymanians. Whether it's 25%, 30%, we will accept that. But we're going to have a lot of people, to my point that I just made, Cayman status, PR, whatever the case may be, they are the ones that they will prefer to recruit over that 25 or 30% of indigenous Caymanians. And that is my issue, right? So don't put the fox to watch the hens, all right? Because you know what's going to happen at the end of the day. We're going to be flooded and we're not going to recognize. Oh, my point was earlier, sorry, I kind of got off track, is that I try to stay, I try not to get in any issues on the road with the traffic because I don't know none of the police. And anytime, if I do have any kind of contact, which I don't, I've seen cases and I've experienced situations where these people don't even know how to talk to people. They don't have no respect. They don't have no training. And until...
Well, we talked about that too earlier in the show. Because they were here for some time. So we talked about that also.
Okay. Well, sorry I brought it up, but I was doing a little work on my car.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I got to do it all myself because I don't trust any of the garages anymore because they're all a bunch of criminals and thieves, right? If you want your car wrecked, take it to one local garage in this island and a local garage.
There's some good mechanics out there, though. I got me one.
Yourself or what?
But no, I'm not. I would never claim to be a mechanic. But also, in getting back to what you were saying, I don't, and I said this, I think, just before you came on the air, that I don't think Commissioner Walton is going to knowingly let that happen, under his command, as far as Caymanians being denied, joining the police service. I can't see him, knowing about that and letting that go. But
Charles, I agree to disagree, because when I see something that proves me different, then I will agree with whatever comments you made regarding whatever issue we are talking about.
Well, we'll let it stand at that. I got to get a couple other callers in here for him at a time.
Yes, sir. to you and have a good afternoon.
You too, sir. We got a WhatsApp caller. What's up? You're on the air.
How are you?
I'm fine. Yourself?
Not too bad, thanks. I've been listening to the conversation for the last couple of minutes, and I want to give you my opinion because I grew up in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say, I didn't remember hearing anybody acknowledge Caymanian police, and they didn't really acknowledge the Jamaican police, but it was the Bajans and the Belizeans and whoever next. And of course, yes, of course we had good Bajan police, strong Bajan police, honest Bajan police, and Belizeans. But when it comes to the technical part of policing, like the drug squad and the CID, it was Jamaicans. We have had some good Jamaicans police in this country over the years. In interviewing our police, we need to look at we need to really dig deep and look at what we want, because Jamaican police are still top of the Caribbean. They are still top. And of course, we pay good. The police here pay good. And we can do a good job if we want to get good police from Jamaica. I know that from much. But we must be fair in how we talk about nationalities. Because a lot of drugs, for instance, when the drugs started, who you think it was out there on the sea and around in the bush? It was the Jamaican police solving those drug problems, and they still solve those problems. Maybe people don't want to say it, but you have to speak the truth when it comes to police.
Yeah, well, give credit where credit is due.
And we have to give credit where credit is due. And we continue. If you see what happened, young people are not, I'm not so sure they're ready. Because police, you have to be honest for one. You can't talk to your parents or your sisters and brothers what is happening in the police force. You have to keep that to yourself. And I'm sure it's hard on our own, on the younger generation to do that. But we can still go and get good Caymanian police. We have to work hard to get them. And of course, we have to bring in the other nationalities, because we have a population that is bigger than it used to be when I was growing up. And you do need police. But one of the things I want to say about the police, the difference in the early police and the difference now, is that the new police do not try to get around to the locals or people. You have to mix with people to find out who people are, who they are in the Cayman Islands, especially as Caymanians. And Caymanians love to talk. And once they love a police, they will give information. You cannot get information if you just walk the roads with your head high. You have to mix. And I can tell you, I was born on Shading Road, and the police was always in and out of my mother's house. She talked to them, they talked to her, they come in. And that is how police still need to do some of their work.
Well, beat officers.
The beat officers. And by the way, where I live, I don't know who is my beat officer right now, because they have changed so much, but they really need to. They really need to, the beat officer, if they're attached to a certain area, they must come around and let the people who live in there know who they are.
Yeah, well, I know up in Prospect, ours is quite active. We have a beat officer up there.
Not far from you. I'm in Tropical Gardens, and I really don't know. I see cars pass. I'll be walking, and nobody even stop and say, "Hi, how you doing? Are you okay?" No, they just go about their business. So policing really needs to change from that aspect. Get in touch with your people. Those are the ones that you want information from. And they will talk, and you know they will talk. Our people will talk. And you mightn't think it's, to us, we mightn't think that it's important, but for a policeman, what you say could be important to them.
Oh, yeah.
In solving these
Sure.
problems. So I just want to say that we must be fair in when we're talking about police, because some good work has been done many years ago by Jamaican police and the Caymanian police.
Well said.
Thank you so much, and I'm sure you know who this is.
Yes, sounds very familiar.
This is Miss Christine. You
yes.
Come on the show. This is Miss Christine.
I figured.
Thank you, Tyler.
Have a good afternoon.
You too.
It's 2:30. My time is up. So I've got to say goodbye. Thank you to all the callers, all of you who tuned in. Have a great afternoon. I'm Charles Glidden. One love.
Talk Today is brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
For 50 years, RECRUITMENT